16 short howls, not over loud. Some say she sees my lady's shroud. Is the night chilly and dark? The night is chilly, but not dark. This thin grey cloud is spread on high. It covers but not hides the sky. The moon is behind and at the full, and yet she looks both small and dull. The night is chill, the clouds are grey. 'Tis a month before the month of May, and the spring comes slowly up this way. The lovely Lady Christabel, whom her father loveth well, what makes she in the woods so late, a furlong from the castle gate? She has dreamed all yesternight of her own betrothed knight. Now she in the midnight woods will pray for the weal of her lover that's far away. She stole along, she nothing spoke. The sighs she heaved were soft and low, and naught was green upon the oak but moss and rarest mistletoe. She kneels beneath the old oak tree, and in silence prayeth she. The lady sprang up suddenly, the lovely Lady Christabel. It moaned as near as it might be, but what it is she cannot tell. From the other side it seemed to be of the huge broad-breasted old oak tree. Is it the wind that moaneth bleak? There is not wind enough in the air to move away the ringlet curl from a lovely lady's cheek. There is not wind enough to twirl the one lone leaf, the last of its clan, dance as often as dance it can, dancing so light and dancing so high from the topmost branch that looks up at the sky. Hush, beating heart of Christabel, Jesu Maria, shield her well. She folded her arms beneath her cloak and stole to the other side of the oak. What sees she there? There she saw a damsel bright, dressed in a silken robe of white that shadowy in the moonlight shone. Her neck that made that white robe wan, her shapely neck and arms were bare, and wildly glittered here and there the gems entangled in her hair. Her blue-veined feet ensandaled were. I guess 'twas frightful there to see a woman as richly clad as she, beautiful exceedingly. Mary, mother, save me now, said Christabel, and who art thou? The lady strange made answer meet, and her voice was faint and sweet. Have pity on my sore distress, I cannot speak for weariness. Stretch forth thy hand, and have no fear. Said Christabel, how camest thou here? And the lady, whose voice was faint and sweet, did thus pursue her answer meet. My sire is of a noble line, and my name is Geraldine. 5 warriors seized me yestermorn, me, even me, a maid forlorn. They choked my cries with force and fright, and tied me on a palfrey white. The palfrey rode as fleet as wind, and they rode furiously behind. They spurred amain, their steeds were bright, and once they crossed the shade of night. As sure as heaven shall rescue me, I have no thought what men these be, nor do I know how long it is since I have lain entranced iwis, since one, the tallest of the 5, took me from the palfrey's back, a weary lady, scarce alive. Some muttered words his comrade spoke. He left me underneath this oak. He swore they would return with haste. Whither they went I cannot tell. I thought I heard some moments past sounds as if of a castle bell. Stretch forth thy hand, thus ended she, and help a wretched maid to flee. Then Christabel stretched forth her hand, and comforted fair Geraldine. O well bright day, mayst thou command the service of Sir Leoline, and gladly his stout chivalry will he send forth, and friends withal, to guide and guard you safe and free home to your noble father's hall. Her gracious star the lady blessed, and thus spake on sweet Christabel. All our household are at rest, the hall is silent as the cell. Sir Leoline is weak in health, and may not well awakened be, but we will move as if in stealth, and I beseech your courtesy this night to share your couch with me. So free from danger, free from fear, they left the wood, right glad they were. They passed the moat, which Christabel took a key that fitted well, a little door that opened straight, all in the middle of the gate, a gate that was ironed within and without, where an army in battle array had marched out. The lady sank, belike through pain, but Christabel with might and main lifted her up, a weary weight, over the threshold of the gate. Then the lady rose again, and moved as she were not in pain. So free from danger, free from fear, they crossed the court, right glad they were. Outside the kennel the mastiff old lay fast asleep in moonshine cold. The mastiff old did not awake, but she an angry moan did make. And what can ail the mastiff bitch? Never before she uttered yell beneath the eye of Christabel. Perhaps it was the owlet's screech, but what can ail the mastiff bitch? So free from danger, free from fear, they entered in right glad they were. They passed the hall which echoed still, pass as silently as they will. The brands were flat, the brands were dying, each in its own white ashes lying, and Christabel saw the lady's eye. For when the lady passed there came a tongue of light, a fit of flame, and nothing else saw she thereby, but the boss of the shield of Sir Leoline tall, which stood in a murky old niche in the wall. Oh, softly tread, quoth Christabel, my father seldom sleepeth well. Sweet Christabel her feet doth bear, and jealous of the listening air, they steal their way from stair to stair, now in glimmer and now in gloom, and now they pass the baron's room, as still as death with bated breath. And now they pass her chamber door, and now does Geraldine press down the rushes of the chamber floor. The moon shines dim in the open air, but not a moonbeam enters here. But they without its light can see the chamber carved so curiously, carved with figures strange and sweet, all made out of the carver's brain for a lady's chamber meet. The lamp with twofold silver chain is fastened to an angel's feet. The lamp it burns both low and dim, but Christabel the lamp will trim. She trimmed the lamp and made it bright, and left it swinging to and fro, while Christabel in wretched plight sank down upon the floor below. O lovely Lady Geraldine, I pray you, drink this cordial wine. It is a wine of virtuous powers. My mother made it of wild flowers. And will your mother welcome me, who am a maiden all forlorn? Christabel answered, woe is me, she died the hour I was born. I have heard the grey-haired friar tell that on her deathbed she did say that she should hear the castle bell strike 12 upon my wedding day. O mother dear, that thou wert here. I would, said Geraldine, she were. But soon with altered voice cried she, off, wandering mother, peak and pine, I have power to bid thee flee. At last, what ails poor Geraldine? Why stares she with unsettled eye? Can she the bodiless dead espy? Why now with altered voice cries she, off, woman, off, this hour is mine. Though thou her guardian spirit be, I have power to bid thee flee. Off, woman, off, 'tis given.